Welcome back to Art Practice ASMR. RWBY is a show that I used to absolutely love. I first discovered it in 2013 through a Geekuk video. He was going over the anime that came out in 2013, and of course RWBY was on that video. It had become a very hot topic in the anime community because everyone was debating over whether or not it should be counted as an anime. But that's not really why the show piqued my interest. I was interested in it because I had become a recent fan of Rooster Teeth, but I had no idea they were making content that looked like that. And so as an anime fan and a Rooster Teeth fan, I thought that I should give the show a try. So I started by watching the first 4 trailers, and I thought they were really cool. So I decided the show was worth watching, and I binged all of season 1. And I absolutely loved it. Sure, it was a little rough around certain edges. The models weren't perfect. The script was a little rough at times, and most of the actors had never really acted before. But I kind of felt like it was all charming in a way. Of course, it's because this was Rooster Teeth's first time attempting something like this. I mean, Red vs. Blue is another action series that they had. Or they still have, because they still make it, but it's very uniquely them. It's very American. And RWBY isn't like that. RWBY is a show that was very clearly created by people who love anime and want to bring something to life that they would want to watch. A lot of people still debate over whether or not RWBY should be considered an anime. And while I don't have any definite answers for that, I will say that I think it gets closer to being like a Japanese anime than a lot of American anime-inspired cartoons do. And I think a lot of that is thanks to the fact that the people making the show obviously like anime. I mean, they know how anime is supposed to feel. It has a very distinct feeling that you get when watching an anime that you don't really get when you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender or Ben 10. There's a feeling that even though they both have similar styles, the Japanese anime just have a feeling of foreignness, in the way the characters move or act, the way things are referenced. You get a sense that it's not from your home country, even if you're watching it dubbed. You just get a sense that it's something new and something different. And a lot of American anime-inspired cartoons have the visual style down with the spiky hair and big eyes, but they are unable to capture that foreignness. And I think while RWBY is made in one of the most American states, in Texas, it still is able to capture a little bit of that foreign quality. And I think that element is thanks to the series creator, Monty Oum. If you're unfamiliar with Monty Oum, he initially became popular on the internet for making really cool fight scenes using video game characters. He made mashup fight scenes like Haloid and Dead Fantasy, and they were brilliant. You could see in the way the characters fight, in the way they're choreographed, and just the way they generally move, you can tell where his inspirations are from. He he's definitely inspired by anime and the video games that he's referencing. But he's also very much inspired in old school Hong Kong movies. The characters do cool, airy anime style attacks with energy beams and stuff. But their attacks still have a certain realistic weight to them. They still have this kind of cinematic quality that you can get from watching a Jackie Chan movie. Not only that, but Monty himself was also a dancer, so he knew how people should move. He had an eye for choreographing these things, and so that's why his animation always looked uniquely spectacular. And when he had the idea for RWBY, he was finally able to put those brilliant fight scenes and package them together with a very unique original story with original characters instead of using existing characters from other properties. And so RWBY was kind of like his magnum opus, you know. It's years worth of work and inspiration poured into one property that was basically his child. I totally get the sense when I watch the first 3 seasons that there's a ton of passion put into them through the people working on it. There's a ton of metaphorical blood, sweat, and tears put into it, because literally that would be gross. But you can tell that the people working on it were really passionate, especially when you watch the behind-the-scenes stuff that they had. You find out that to get the male animators the ability to understand what characters should look like when they walk in heels, they actually had them wear high heels and walk in the parking lot, and so that they could use themselves as their own reference. The animators also physically put their bodies into it when they use the mocap, and they use it in a pretty interesting and unique way. Typically, mocap is used to capture very small or normal movements that would look weird hand-animated. You know, stuff like walk cycles or, you know, normal everyday movements. But Monty used them in very interesting ways when working on RWBY. He would put together a ton of different movements, for example, spins, and he would collect and stitch together all of these different spins to turn it into one attack for the character Neo. And that's actually something that he shared on his Twitter. I'll leave in that mistake because why not? But that's what I loved about the first 3 seasons of RWBY. They were very clearly passionate about what they were making, and you could really tell through everything. I don't know if I talked about this in this version of the recording, but being a fan of Rooster Teeth, it gave me an added connection to watching RWBY, because the voice actors for the most part are Rooster Teeth employees, so you could hear them go from zero experience to slowly becoming actual respected voice actors. In the case of Michael Jones, who hadn't really acted before he played Sun, but now he's the official English voice for Sting in Fairy Tail, which is pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie, I don't like RWBY anymore. Season 3 was the last season to have Monty work on it, as he passed away during pre-production. And while Season 3 pulled through, I expected Season 4 to still keep in the same feeling. Unfortunately, it seemed that Monty was the one making the show what it was, and Season 4 just felt like nothing I wanted to watch. it had just changed so much in many different ways. So many different ways I actually made a video talking about them. They immediately changed the program that RWBY was animated in after Monty passed away, which does sound malicious, but I'm pretty sure it was just business. But it completely changed the look of the show, and they also changed the way the show was written. It didn't work as individual episodes. Now it was something that you have to binge watch to get the full feeling of the show. And I feel like all of that put a bad taste in my mouth. Even though I used to love RWBY, I did find it hard to make this video, because my enjoyment of RWBY has just been kind of tainted, because I know that eventually RWBY became something that I don't enjoy. And that's a really sad note to end on, but that's it. Thanks for watching.